Welcome to our channel. The recent violent and relentless conflicts in Israel have unleashed a wave of fear, uncertainty, and burning questions that refuse to be silenced. People are desperately searching for answers, questioning the true identity of the Palestinians, and wondering if everything they thought they knew is wrong. We've been inundated with comments asking, who are the Palestinians really? Are they, as so many claim, the direct descendants of Ishmael, or is there something much more hidden beneath the surface? In the midst of this deadly turmoil in Israel, we are preparing a shocking and eye-opening video that will expose the origins of the Palestinian people. This video will not just inform, it will ignite debates that many have avoided for far too long. In Genesis 16:10-12, the angel of the Lord declared, "I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be too numerous to count. You will bear a son and name him Ishmael. He will be a wild donkey of a man, his hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." These verses have sparked countless claims that today's Palestinians are the direct descendants of Ishmael, Abraham's son and Isaac's brother. This connection, some argue, is the ancient root of the endless and bloody conflict tearing through the Gaza region. But is this belief grounded in solid, unshakable truth, or is it a dangerous and misleading myth, a shadow built on centuries of misconception and manipulation? The ethnic composition of the Palestinians is far more complex, diverse, and intertwined than most people are willing to admit or even consider. Beyond their Arab identity and steadfast Islamic faith, many Palestinians carry within them the lineage of ancient Jews, tracing their heritage back to those who converted to Islam during the sweeping changes of the 6th and 7th centuries. The origins of the Palestinian people, deeply rooted in the southern Levant, are not merely a simple story of ancestry. They are a labyrinth of linguistic, genetic, and historical studies that challenge and shatter many nationalist ideologies, leading to myths that distort and obscure the true reality. What the world fails to grasp is that Palestinians, though predominantly Arab and Muslim, are anything but a homogeneous group. Their heritage is a rich, complicated tapestry of various religious practices, languages, cultures, and ethnic backgrounds, each thread woven by the tumultuous history of the region. Palestine's demographic history is a chaotic and turbulent tale of migrations, wars, uprisings, and conquests, shaped and reshaped by countless empires and powers that once ruled this embattled land. The Muslim conquest of the Levant in the 7th century triggered a dramatic and irreversible process of Arabization and Islamization, fueled by local conversions and the increasing Muslim presence that forever altered the region's population. Even as the Arab-Muslim community grew, it remained but a fragment compared to the population that existed during the late antiquity period. From the Middle Ages to the early 20th century, this Arab-Muslim population rose to become the dominant religious group in the region. Yet beneath this surface, whispers of Jewish and Samaritan roots remain alive, preserved through oral traditions passed down through generations of Palestinian families. The ongoing and intense struggle to construct a cohesive Palestinian national identity continues to unfold, challenging internal divisions based on clan, tribal, and Islamic identities that threaten to fragment the unity of this people. Palestine's history has always been a story of turbulence and upheaval, marked by the complex movements of peoples and the rise and fall of powers. During the Bronze Age, the land was dominated by the Canaanites, but the emergence of the Israelites as a distinct group during the Iron Age forever changed the region's destiny. The eventual downfall of these kingdoms led to the tragic forced exiles under the Assyrians and Babylonians, setting the stage for domination by the mighty Achaemenid, Ptolemaic, and Seleucid empires. Classical antiquity witnessed the rise of the Jewish population to prominence in Palestine, and for a brief moment in history, they enjoyed independence under the Hasmonean dynasty. Yet this history is not merely a recounting of past events, it is a haunting and brutal reminder of the forces that continue to shape and define the land today, a land where ancient legacies collide with modern realities in ways that cannot be ignored. However, the region was later incorporated into Roman rule. The Jewish-Roman Wars, especially the Bar Kokhba revolt, led to the death, displacement, and enslavement of many Jews. As a result, the Jewish population in Judea significantly declined in the following centuries. The region experienced political and economic turmoil, conversions to the emerging Christian religion, and religious persecution of minorities. A Christian majority formed under Byzantine rule due to Christian immigration and the departure of Jews. This era was also marked by conflicts such as Samaritan uprisings and the conversion of the local population. In the 7th century, Arabs, who had adopted the religion of Islam, conquered the Levant, and over the following centuries, various Arabic-speaking Muslim dynasties, such as the Umayyads, Abbasids, and Fatimids, ruled the region. The population of Palestine decreased significantly over the centuries, falling from around 1 million during the Roman and Byzantine periods to about 300,000 at the beginning of the Ottoman period. Over time, much of the existing population converted to Islam, adopted Arab culture, and the Arabic language. It is believed that Arab colonization, both before and after the Muslim conquest, accelerated the process of Islamization in the region. It's notable that a significant portion of the population in the Nablus area of Palestine is descended from Samaritans who converted to Islam. Samaritans were descendants of some Israelite tribes and also had Assyrian origins, as the Assyrians are also a Semitic people. It is unclear whether the conversion to Islam in Palestine occurred before or after the period of the Crusades. Some scholars and experts suggest that Palestine was already predominantly Muslim when the Crusaders arrived. On the other hand, there are arguments that the mass Islamization process occurred later, possibly during the Mamluk period. The Mamluk period is a time in history that refers to the dominance of a dynasty of military leaders, known as the Mamluks in various regions of the Islamic world, most notably Egypt and Syria. The Mamluks were originally slave soldiers who became powerful rulers of Islamic states during the 13th to 19th centuries. There are different Mamluk periods in different parts of the Islamic world, but the most famous and long-lasting was the Mamluk Empire in Egypt. In the 13th century, the Mamluks established their own government in Egypt, which became known as the Mamluk Sultanate. The most famous Mamluk leader was Saladin, who reconquered Jerusalem from the Crusaders in 1187 and established a dynasty that would last for centuries. Mamluk rule in Egypt came to an end in 1517 when the Ottoman Empire, led by Sultan Selim I, conquered Egypt. The Mamluks were absorbed into the Ottoman system but maintained some local autonomy. The demographic composition of Palestine has been shaped by several waves of migration. This includes the Egyptian migration during the reigns of Muhammad Ali and Ibrahim Pasha, as well as the immigration of Algerians after the Abu Khalid uprising in the first half of the 18th and 19th centuries. Later, during the second half of the 19th century, there were migrations of Indo-European peoples to Palestine, including Slavic Bosnians and Circassians. During the 17th century, the population of Palestine decreased and remained between 150,000 and 250,000 people over several centuries under Ottoman rule. Focusing on the origins of the Palestinians, while Palestinian culture is predominantly Arab and Islamic today, many Palestinians identify with the civilizations that inhabited the land of Palestine throughout history. During Ottoman times, Palestinians considered themselves descendants not only of 7th century Arab conquerors, but also of indigenous people who had lived in a country since time immemorial. According to a Palestinian anthropological study, a wide variety of peoples settled in the Palestine region throughout history and considered it their homeland. This initially included the Canaanites, followed by the Philistines. Later came the Israelites, Hebrews and Edomites, Arabs descended from Esau, brother of Jacob, the Nabateans, descendants of Ishmael, Nebaioth, son of Ishmael, gave rise to this Arab tribe: Arameans, descendants of Aram, also Semites, Romans and Arabs, descendants of Midian. This mix of peoples contributed to the rich cultural and ethnic heritage of Palestine over the centuries. The reality is that the study is entirely correct, mainly because today's Palestinians, despite many internet theorists claiming they are exclusively descendants of Ishmael, have a diverse heritage, including Jewish, Edomite, Aramean, Canaanite, and Philistine traits. All these groups intermixed over time. It's evident that the Palestinian people predominantly have Semitic origins, both in appearance and genetics. As Semites are prevalent in their ancestry, including Palestinian Arabs and Jews. In recent years, genetic studies have revealed that, in terms of paternal lineage, the ethnic divisions between Jews and Palestinians are related. Genetic analyses in Jewish populations have shown that Jews and Palestinians are genetically closer to each other than Jews from other countries, considering the level of haplogroup defined only by binary polymorphisms. The distribution of the Y chromosome in Arabs and Jews was notably similar, according to the 2010 study conducted by Bihar et al. Titled "The Genomic Structure of the Jewish People." Genetically tested Palestinians clustered genetically close to Jordanian Bedouins and Saudi Arabs, suggesting a common origin in the Arabian Peninsula. In the same year, a study led by Harry Oster, among others, concluded that Palestinians shared genetic similarities with Bedouins, Druze, and some Jewish groups from southern Europe, who are the closest genetic neighbors to Jewish populations. The explanation for some Jewish populations sharing genetic similarities with European peoples is related to the fact that in antiquity, Jews mixed with European ethnic groups, such as Ashkenazi Jews, who include descendants of Europeans like Germans, among others. This mixture over time contributed to the observed genetic similarities. In fact, biblical texts have spoken for millennia that Arabs and Jews are not distant peoples but rather brothers. Genetic studies continue to support this claim. Interestingly, a DNA study conducted by Nebel found substantial genetic overlap between Arabs, Israeli Jews, and Palestinians. Nebel proposed that a portion, or perhaps the majority of Muslim Palestinians descend from local inhabitants, primarily Jews who converted after the Islamic conquest in the 7th century AD. In other words, today's Palestinians have diverse ancestry, including Jews, Arameans, Ishmaelites from the Nebayat tribe, Edomites descended from Esau, as well as Canaanites and Philistines. This genetic diversity reflects the complex history of the region. Many people have questioned the events in the Middle East and biblical prophecies, specifically those related to Gog and Magog. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this video has shed light on some of the complex and hidden truths surrounding the origins of the Palestinian people. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content.